What's up? We're the Stolen, and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
You guys are in town right now on tour, and in support of a new single with, which is like incredible, Rooftops. Let's talk about Rooftops and this collaboration. Like, how did that kind of come about for you guys?
So when we started writing the song, I had envisioned kind of like in the 80s when they had We Are the World, and there's kind of a bunch of different people on the song. And Jake's been a friend of our band for a while. We've known him for years. And I shot him a text, said, hey, man, what do you think of this song? I totally hear your voice on it. 20 minutes later, I get a text back from him. You've got mail. I checked my email. Sent it right back away. It was awesome. And I was just so happy with just kind of how, you know, his performance and everything was on it. So
Why did you feel Jake Miller was like the right choice for this song?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think for this band, we're really about like our friends and people who mean something to us. And I think it's also the meaning of the song. I know it's something that Jake stands behind. I know it's something that he believes in. It's not just, you know, okay, this is someone for a certain voice or whatever. I think he stands behind the message. And on top of that, I think musically, him and Dom have such different voices, and they just really kind of contrast. And I think that was another thing that really kind of worked with it as well. So
right. The topic of this song, it's a heavy topic, and it's like, you know, it's a topic that we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
More so this year because there's so many issues going on with suicide. Can we talk a little bit more, dive into this topic a little more, and why was it so important for you guys to do it?
Yeah. I mean, so when we first started writing the song, I had this general idea. The song started completely different than it does now. Had the lyrics and this acoustic guitar part. Started writing it the night actually Anthony Bourdain died, and it kind of really messed with me. I gave Dom a call. I said, hey, dude, want to come over? I have this song idea. And it was like 9 o'clock at night. Came over, hanging out on my back deck, and you know, we started finishing it. And I don't know, we loved the idea of the concept of the song, and at the time musically just wasn't what we wanted. We felt like it wasn't doing the song justice. And then we were at band practice one night and a rehearsal studio, and we just started jamming it on the floor, and it felt right. Went back later that night, put all the demo into the computer, and then just built it from there. But I mean, as far as the song topic goes, I mean, yeah, it was that week. There's like 3 notable people who died, and it was really messed with me. And I was like, man, this is, you know, I look at Anthony Bourdain, and I look at some of these other people, and you know, they look like they have the perfect life. They're going all over the world, doing these incredible things, seeing these amazing people, you know, and you think they're so happy. You think that, man, these people are like on top, and you know, the line "Meet me at the rooftop," like, you know, you're on top, you're the top of the world, and it's an illusion. And musically too, you know, the song isn't here to glorify it. The song is something that is here to make a message. And musically, we wanted it to be this up-tempo pop song because, you know, someone listening to it on first, you know, listen, only hearing that chorus might think, oh, what is this, like a dance club song, rooftop party, whatever. And it's not. And I think that it goes along with everything's not fine, and we're just all an illusion to it. Anyone on the internet can just kind of be who they pretend they want to be instead of who they actually are. And I think that's a big factor to us not looking out for each other.
Right.
So
now the fact that, you know, it is a dark subject, but at the same time you mentioned like it's kind of like a poppier, dancey kind of song. Like, what was that creative process for you guys like in the studio and getting that instrumentation in?
I think like Rob said, we kind of were just like, he, you know, brought the lyrics, and then he had it like instrumentally different, and then kind of how we work is like we just, once we get on the floor and like really just like start jamming, we really it all kind of glues together. So, you know, just kind of building off of what he said, we were at a rehearsal studio that day, and then 3 days later we had like a studio session booked, and we just kind of went in and just like banged it out, and literally like 3 weeks later we had the master, and Jake was on it. It just like all happened super quickly. Yeah, so that it was really cool how it like kind of worked out.
How like our songs change from what they originally are. You know, Rob will make it very electronic, which isn't a bad thing. And then kind of once we all come together and just put our little taste on it, the whole song kind of just like makes sense. You know, like 4 heads are better than 1.
Right. And kind of, you kind of touched topic on like the sound kind of changes a little bit. It's different from your previous stuff. So, you know, do you guys feel like you guys are still kind of trying to discover who the Stolen sounds like? Do you guys have that sound already?
I think we have. I would say, I mean, we're a band where I think discovery is a lifelong thing, and I think that we are very comfortable at this point in our career of knowing who we are as people, and I think that we're not trying to pigeonhole in a sound. I know a lot of artists say, oh, I'm different, I'm this, and it's not that. I think that we write a song that musically makes sense to what the message is and what the emotion is, and at the end of the day, whether the song is more of a rock song or more of a pop song or more of an indie song or whatever it may be, upbeat ballad, it's still the Stolen. I mean, we've been playing music together our whole lives, so for us on this record, we're really, I think now more than ever, all our songs, we're not just trying to say, let's make this record sound like a whole cohesive. I shouldn't say that. It's going to sound cohesive, again, it being the Stolen, but the fact that, the way the world is right now, the way music is, I feel, you really can make a record of 6, 10, 20 different sounding songs. Right. And I think that that's something that's so cool, and we're always trying to do.
So is Rooftops like that introduction to this upcoming potential record or EP that you guys are working on?
Yeah, I mean, we've put out a few singles before Rooftop. I think this one has the greatest, I don't want to say impact, but it's definitely a little bit more upfront than the other ones. But I mean, we still have, we're still working on a bunch of songs, stuff like that, and I think it's just like Rob said, I think it's like, we're just very big on putting ourselves in the music, and like whatever this song comes, whether it sounds like this or sounds like that, it's just very us, and that's what we're super just about with it. So
now, how do you guys feel like you guys kind of evolved from your first track to this latest track today, Rooftops?
So first track being like our first song ever.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I'm thinking, like,
I think like Rob said, we're playing music like together basically forever, whether it be me and Mike playing a marching band or the band and all that kind of stuff. So we've definitely evolved, but just as listeners, we grew up on classic rock. I can say for everyone that our parents love that kind of music, and then we kind of discover all these different genres. And I think for us it's important to kind of diversify ourselves and like what we want to make. We really love like rock music, but we also love pop music. So I think the progression from our first song has, it's not as pigeonholed as it might have been perceived.
It used to be I feel like we started out again like covering classic rock songs, and moved on to like very heavy into like say that pop punk scene and stuff like that, and then moving on to more pop rock stuff like this, and where we are now, I think it's like you saw the progression. It was just based on like also what we were consuming. We say like, oh, you create as you consume. So it's like if you're gonna consume one kind of music, odds are the music you're gonna make is gonna come out like that. And I think that's why we're very, very big on just like taking in everything from jamming Frank Sinatra in the van to Dua Lipa. I don't it's just like that's how broad our music palette really is.
Now I figured I'd dress for the occasion. So like, what was it about AC/DC that got you guys inspired in the first place and like made you want to like do their covers and made you want to start doing music?
They were the first band that we ever covered, and I think it was because like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I think that was like it was like in a game where it's like, yo, let's cover this, and we did, and like I think we all were like, yo, AC/DC, like so badass, rock and roll, like amps all the way up kind of thing. So we're like, all right, cool. So we covered that, and it was also a pretty simple song for kids who were just starting out at 10 years old. So all right, we could do this. I think like you were just the kick, the straight way through. So it was that, and then like I think it was kind of thing we all like rallied around, and like again thinking like AC/DC, we covered Kiss when we were younger. We covered so that's like all those the classic rock songs that our parents grew up on. We kind of adopted that into like our way of life really. So yeah, but AC/DC
back then, that's when like rock music was on the radio. So we always kind of like, if you really break those songs down, they were kind of like a pop structure. And I think that's what we liked about those songs, were more the pop punk songs that like we moved into after that, like didn't really have a structure. So now like it kind of went full circle from listening to stuff that had a structure. If this makes any sense at all, like back on the radio, the more pop stuff, but it still kind of emulates with that rock. I mean, I don't know if that made any sense, but like it made sense in my head.
I sort of understand.
Well, I think what's interesting too is a lot of people, I mean, we've known each other our whole lives, so I think a lot of people, when they start their first band, when they're in middle school or high school, they play school talent show, a couple shows, break up, then maybe they meet a couple new kids and they start another band, maybe play a couple local shows, break up, then they do but each time they do that, their sounds different. Maybe their first band was doing the AC/DC classic rock things, and then when they're in high school, they're doing the Warped Tour sounding thing, and then afterward, you know, they move on, maybe they meet a couple other friends, and people go through cycles of different bands that sound different. But for us, it's kind of like watching ourselves grow up, like from being, you know, 10, 11 up to, you know, all in our, you know, early and mid 20s now. So it's crazy where, you know, a lot of our friends who've known for years, who maybe we've known as young as when we've known, have been in like 4 or 5 different bands. Right. And, you know, for us, it's been the same 4 people. So
right. That's awesome, guys. Well, I look forward to more music. Definitely, you know, caught my attention. So I'm excited for that. You guys be sure to check out The Stolen. They have their newest single is out now. It's called Rooftop featuring Jake Miller. And they're on tour right now. So thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.